Hi, welcome to my financial markets recap for the week. It's John Bannon here at ComhlaTech.com. Before we get to the news, quick update on the system. Great week this week. Nice win. Could have been a really big win if it wasn't for Facebook, or aka Meta as they're called now. Earnings were, if earnings were better received, they were really, really dire, quite frankly. So, but still a great trade. Still pulled in a really decent sized profit there. So that was great. We're back sitting in our hands. Something's coming up next week. Of course, I'll talk more about that next week. But bottom line is we continue a great start to the year. So let's hope we keep that going. That was the system update. Now what happened in the actual news? Well, the big news this week really was the Meta earnings. Facebook's earnings were, they lost like $230 billion in market cap on yesterday. Overnight on Wednesday night, and really disappointing earnings. The largest one-day drop in terms of market value in the history of the American stock market, right? So that shows you how bad that was. They really, really tanked. A quarter of their value went overnight, which obviously is a bit of an overreaction, right? But that's what happens. It wasn't all bad for the technology scene though, because there's a lot of good things happened this week. The Snapchat, Pinterest and Amazon really soared in their earnings, and Snapchat actually jumped 60%. I mean, 60%, the little ghost app that younger generations are using. It reported its first ever quarterly profit. It's been around for years, and its first ever quarterly profit, so they really bought into that one. And Amazon jumped 15%, which is such a huge move for a titan like Amazon. Absolutely incredible. And there was other news in tech this week. It was from Google. They posted their third straight quarter of record sales as the holiday searches drove ad revenue for them. And they announced also they're splitting the stock in 20. So that's a 20-1 share split. I have never heard of such a thing. I think the max I've ever heard of was 6-1, but then I'm not sure if other companies have done something like that, but that's a big stock split, and obviously we'll get more interest from people with to buy the stock because it's lower priced, even though it's technically the same. So speaking of tech, the GM's its self-driving car unit Cruise secured a $5 billion credit line to help launch its autonomous driving and ride-hailing business. So this month, GM's starting to assemble 100 of these Cruise Origin shuttles. So self-driving really is not just the way of Google and Tesla. It is really heating up in that space. So the GM is really pumping a lot of money into that, obviously. So it's coming. Across the pond, the Bank of England, which basically is the UK's Fed, they raised their interest rates again. So that's the first back-to-back interest rate since 2004 in the UK. So this, of course, is in order to tame inflation, which is going nuts. And the Federal Reserve is expected to raise rates in March, if not sooner. That's looking like March. In energy news, if you're doing a double take on the gas prices, I wouldn't blame you. Gas prices are now up 50% from a year ago, and oil's at a 7-year high. That's really hurting our wallets, obviously. But the energy giants themselves, the last quarter Exxon sales climbed over 80%, year on year, to $85 billion in sales, an annual profit of $23 billion. These are just unimaginable numbers, the highest since 2014. So as you can imagine, the profits are really coming through, not just for Exxon, but for Chevron and giants like Shell as well. So all those guys are making out like bandits, basically, right? So something has to give here. I know the government's talked about trying to curtail it a little bit in the US, but nothing seems to be happening because the price is just going up and up and up. So something's got to give there. So lastly, an interesting fact here, Jeff Bezos' super yacht is so big that the Dutch city of Rotterdam is considering temporarily dismantling a historic bridge that's been there for a long time. I'm not sure how long it's been there, but it's been there a long time, to help push through the 417-foot boat to allow it to reach the ocean. Wow, right? You really know you've made it when they have to take down a 100-year or 200-year-old bridge just to let your boat pass through. So good for him, right? Whatever. That's it for me. It is Friday. Time to down tools. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.